It probably hasn't always been that way. But
Yeah,
man, are
and
you
I'm
gonna get this energy, and then that's that I can't. I
yeah,
can't.
yeah, for
I got to
sure.
get back to what I got to get back to. That's I just
Yeah,
perspective and everything, and it's pretty deep.
yeah, it's definitely, that's even especially when it's like, the family you gotta,
Hmm.
like regular stuff, you know what I'm saying? I don't have all that like friends and all that type of stuff. It's either family or business. I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And the family part ain't really that big of a deal. It's a bigger deal now because of my mission. So I wanted to be a part. But I mean, if you like, I talk about my story all the time. I've been on my own and away from family since I was like 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not a huge thing. It's just a huge thing because I'm trying to break those curses and trying to break those. You know what I'm saying? So when you're trying to
Yeah.
do that, and then the people that should be fighting with you to break it are keeping it going, it's just, but it's all good. It's part of the process.
It is. It is. And so I would say, at one of the churches, the last church I used to attend, and I attended that church, and that pastor was extremely pro-black, African history, and community engagement. And then when that shut down, it's like where else am I going to find a place where I can be active and continue, on the path of spirituality and learning and growth and whatever. We used to have highlights every Sunday. You be able to tell your highlights, right?
Yeah.
So when I came, I don't know what our topic is for today, but I'm like, I got a highlight, and
Mm.
it's in the same area, same arena, because I'm kind of going, well, my family not really support me, and it's not even supporting me. It's making decisions that's good for them,
Yeah.
So I put myself in a position where I can help you. I'm what I'm supposed to do. I'm not gonna do nothing to hurt you. I'm gonna be here. I ain't going nowhere. You know my address, you know everything about
Yeah.
me. You
Yeah.
got baby pictures. I mean, not really, but
I
so
get I get what you're saying though, yeah, for sure.
yeah, you're dealing with a stranger, somebody knock on your door, like for real. But anyway, I have had an increase in family support. So my highlight is that the first two parent registrants for this Saturday's restorative parent event is my nephew and his wife. And so they registered, they got my sister to babysit the kids so they can come and learn. And I'm like, see, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know who put the bug in their ear, or they just finally said, hey, Amy is over there doing something and we can show her some support. Because I think it's that conscious decision to support
Yeah.
whoever you support. And I think sometimes, because we had the conversation a little bit last week, so you can look at something and say, oh, that's nice. You can look at something and say, I need to be there. Or you can look at something and say, I'm going to support what's going on because I understand who's doing it, why they're doing it, and it must be important.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how. I mean, I was so excited. My sister called and she's like, "Yeah, they asked me to babysit. They both gonna show up." And I just know the impact for the community. Stronger parents raise stronger kids, and we don't know it all, and we have a lot of evidence
Yeah.
that we can stand to know more than we know right now.
Oh, a whole lot more.
Okay, well, we get the whole lot more, but just something more,
Yeah.
something more. So I'm hoping, well, I'm campaigning. Hey, this is for the parents, and if parents can get it right, because my whole heart is into helping children avoid the traps,
Yeah.
to helping them. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's hard if we're making the same mistakes that were made with us. And I think we can go overboard, so we know we need that balance. Where I thought, my dad was so strict and he was da da da. So then you become lenient or maybe too lenient. You try to find the middle. Maybe you did or you didn't. But what I used to always tell the kids was, I guarantee you, your parents wake up every morning and they do the very best they know how with everything they have to do it with. Now, whether or not a parent wants to do more, to do better, to learn more, that's still the best they have. If they don't yet know that the requirement is that you continue to grow the same way, hopefully you grow in other areas, things that are interesting to you. If you're interested in, we'll use the analogy of sport. If you're interested in sports, then you spend time learning about sports. You spend time talking about sports. You see what I'm saying? You wear it, you put a little money into it and things like that. And so,
you put your energy into it.
You put your energy into it, right? And so, yeah, that's important. That's important.
Yeah, it is. And like you say, it's always two heads to everything. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a bunch of parents that just do, even though sometimes I feel like it's still leading them wrong, is what they know. So it's not that they're doing it from a bad heart. They're just, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got them all they know, but we just have to be real. A lot of times, all they know is just leads us to the trap. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were having this conversation the other day. The most guys that I know that's in the penitentiary, and the most guys that they know, come from mom or dad or both being heavily into church, heavily into religion, heavily into made to go to Sunday school, and they still end up in the prison. So we have to ask ourselves, what's the disconnect? Because we're told that being in church every Sunday and having that's gonna make us a better person, put us in a better position. That's what we're taught as we're going.
I don't know that we're actually taught that.
Where we're told to believe that that's the only way we're gonna get blessed with this or get blessed with that. We can't do it outside the church. That's what I've been told. I've never been told that you cannot go to church, you cannot believe in everything, and all the blessings gonna come. I was told that that's the devil, the person that don't want to go to church, and the person that don't. And like I say, that's just me personally. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I fight back against it so hard, because I know people that go to church every time the church open, and these some of the worst people walking. Like, that's just reality. You know what I'm saying? Not meaning everybody that go to church every time is open. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
I can only speak from what I see in my perspective. I mean, in my life, I can't say that everybody's doing the same thing. Do I think everybody doing the same thing? No. But do I think it's a lot of people that's doing that same thing? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see, and this is something Tupac was talking about in the 90s. I don't see the connection with, if we keep living this way, things gonna get better, because they haven't. That's just the reality of what I see. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know everybody in my family, I'm here 40 years. They've been doing the praying and speaking in tongues and everything way before I came. And most of my family is still impoverished. Most of our family still have a dysfunctional relationships. Most of my family is still. Our biggest success story is somebody that got a 30-year mortgage and a good job. That's our biggest success story. Is that really success?
So I don't think
I'm speaking from the frustrated kid.
Okay, yeah.
Because this is this is bridging the gap, right?
Thank you. Yes.
So this is the part that the parents say, no, you can't just look at it like that. No, it's this. No, it's that. And the kid is over there frustrated, like, you've been telling me this all my life, and this is what I got. This is what the real world is showing me. That a lot of this stuff that you told me gonna work out if I do this and work out if I do that, it's not working out. So now that's why you see a lot of kids angry with parents for some of the things that parents just made a mistake. But like you say, they were doing the best in their situation, and everybody made mistakes. So that's not even what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about the mindset of when that parent tells you. And I think that's why I fight back so hard when people come to me and they're like, "Oh, I love what you're doing. You're so great. You're so inspirational. What church you go to?" And I'm like, you don't have to go. I don't have to go to jail, and I don't have to go to church to wake up and be a better black man. And that's the narrative that I'm always hearing. Oh, that guy he going to jail. Oh, I changed my life in jail. Oh, he go to church now. Oh, I changed my life in church. I just woke up and changed my life. I ain't do now one of them. You know what I'm saying? Now one of them. I just woke up, look myself in the mirror, and say it's time for a change. That's what I did personally. You know, maybe some people do need that spiritual, and that's cool with that. But make sure you're changing when you take that spiritual, you're actually changing somebody else's life. You're not just taking the spiritual for your grand finale, and you leaving everybody else in the desert starving and with no water. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like I always tell people, I think some religious people are some of the selfish people in walking, because all they care about is where they're gonna go when they're gonna die, not what I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
Not what I'm gonna feel. Now I've never heard somebody that's super Christian or super. I mean, I'm not even counting the Nation of Islam, because they put religion and building and community all together. You know what I'm saying? I can only speak to the part that I grew up around. I never heard now one of those men have a program. Now one of those men, deacons and all that, talk about what they're doing for the community. Now one of those men trying to do nothing besides mess with a couple of women. Personally, I'm speaking only personally. This is what I saw with my eyes, not what I'm guessing that's happening. With my eyes, this is what I saw, you know. So that leads me to be like, I'd rather be like the street guy that want to give away turkeys, that want to help out this, that pay some bills, because even though he's still doing wrong, to me, he's doing better than the person over here that ain't doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? But I was just speaking from that point of view. I'm here to listen, but I see you over there writing. Like, hold on, I gotta make sure.
No, I was posted. I was putting it on the Facebook. Yeah, I was just letting them know that we were here.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's what I was doing. I don't be that much off task.
No. I know sometimes I get the rambling, and you be like,
no, you're fine. It was just
you might forget something that I said because I kept going after you want to say something about this.
I do have to wait sometimes, but it's okay, because I need to be listening. I need to be listening to hear, because we're bridging the gap. And so I have to hear what you're saying so that I can take the next step. You remember, you have the piece that I'm missing. Yes. Okay. And I got a piece before you got here that you're missing.
And then I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm trying to connect it, because
right.
I'm still dealing with the young, but I'm right in the middle, and then I'm still trying to build with the, and then so it's, you know how it is.
Yeah. So my experience, you did finally get to where it was. I think when I was growing up and I was in church, it was that you're just gonna miss hell and get that seat in heaven. That was it. Okay. And you went to church because that was what you do. It didn't matter what you did after church. Yeah. Before church, you just be at the church. Okay. So I knew it was important to be at the church. And then, so back when I was coming up, our church had a youth center. So I could go to the church and I could bowl, I could play basketball. And then, we had our lessons. And so they did more than, to me, what I see happening now, at least in the Black church. So the Black church was, and then you have the different denominations that had, some they couldn't wear pants and all of this. So that was kind of confusing as a child, that you got these different churches with these different beliefs. And, I even had an uncle that, said to me that my grandfather, who was the deacon of his church, that he was going to hell because he didn't speak in tongues. So it is, rather confusing at times for a kid, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What I think about now, when you say that witness, that walk, that witness of, you go to church, but how you living? I had an aunt that was living right. That wasn't in my home. It was a different example. My daddy did not go to the church house. My mama did not miss the church house, right? And my mama she was going to be dressed to a T. And she sing like a bird. She just does. She has a beautiful soprano voice, Yeah. And some of the things that, I noticed, like you afterward, it was like it didn't match up with what it was that you might have heard in a sermon. So there was a transition, so I really, came into the church after my parents divorced. And I have this aunt who takes us into her house, and her life demonstrates the love of Jesus, the love of Christ, right?
Yeah.
And so it's at that point that I could seriously consider that this is what I wanted to do with my life, that I wanted to be a part of this, because I think you have to come to a decision that you want to be a part of the church. And so after that, I'm in church, I'm this, that, and the other. I go really deep into the church. And in the process, we go from like a community church where, you know, we're family, we're kids, the kids have activities, you do. I don't know this wealth prosperity church. I don't know that one because I never transitioned into it. I was transitioning into one that would have been, that may be like that now. And I left that one. Okay. And when I left that church, this was still me because I haven't changed. I needed the church to be more responsive to their Blackness, that we're a Black church and we should be handling Black issues and we should take care of our children in the context of what they face in society as Black children, right? And so I'm that odd person, you know, odd person out. We all catching the same hell, we all catching it, right? I didn't know till later. Several women at that same church with me, their kids are being diagnosed with ADD or put in behavior class and special. The same attack was happening all the way around, but that cohesiveness or whatever, we didn't know all that was happening at the same time. Yeah, so sure. I didn't get into the health and wealth and prosperity. That's a different. So when sometimes when I think about the church now, if I can drive the big fancy car and I can show up at the church and I can match dress everybody, then that would be called a blessing, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if indeed I'm doing those things and I have access to money and I'm not getting myself in debt, then I would say, well, I guess you are blessed, right? But then in my mind, I'm going, and if you are that blessed, what are you doing for those that are less fortunate? Yeah. And so then that would be for me, I can't really do that because again, I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb. I'm trying to figure out how do we fund initiatives? How do we take care of people? How do we, how do we solve some of these problems for us as a people? Yeah. And it's very interesting. Then I left one church and actually went to look for a church that was, what do you call it? Had both all races, Black and white. And then I had to experience some of that when I was in the military and in Germany. But if you go to a predominantly white church, they quickly let you know, you are not us. You cannot teach an adult Sunday school class. We'll let you teach the kids Sunday school class. We got these parameters, right? Yeah. And so there's one church I was at, it was President Obama was running for president, right? Mm-hmm. Oh man, they was teaching against it. They had the ballot. They did stuff I'd never seen. Okay, they was recruiting my husband to the Tea Party meetings. I'm like,
separation from church and state.
Not for them. We play by the rules. They don't always play by the rules.
Oh, yeah, I know that for sure. Yeah.
We're not gonna break a rule because why? We've been conditioned not to break these rules. You know, the consequences for us, we're always gonna get caught and we're always gonna get more severe consequences. So we really don't. We play by the rules or we don't play at all. You know what I mean? So that's when I said, so we were there and I was like, oh, y'all got us messed up. Yeah, I'm just saying, no, baby, that ain't how that's gonna go. And then that's when I said we were able to find a church where a pastor understood, you could hear a sermon about Black people in the Bible, African American history. You're having programs, centered around our Blackness. And it was absolutely beautiful, right? And it was before COVID, the church began to kind of disintegrate. Now, I don't know if it was me, because this is how I am. You're the pastor, right? I'm sitting in your church under you. So I began to get new knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. And with this new knowledge, I think it's only respectful that I go, hey, Pastor, check this out, because this is what I heard. I want some feedback.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me.
You know, so
Yeah.
you're in this position, and I was sensitive about people, you know, just me personally, with people saying I've been called to preach or I've been called to pastor, right? And so I figure if you was called to pastor and I'm sitting in your church, when I give you this information, you are equipped to help me or to understand me or to deal with what has been set in front of you. Okay.
Yeah.
People get the business, whatever package I'm in, they gonna have the business because I've always been inquisitive and just me, right? And so since COVID, or anyway, so the church kind of disintegrated. I know I'm not going to find a place, or I haven't been able to find a place. And now my whole belief system has been turned upside down. And that just simply, as I'm saying this and bridging the gap, is to say, understand that everybody is in a place of evolution.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
And if they're not in a place of evolution, they're stagnant and they're choosing to be stagnant and nobody can move them. So you got to either wait for them, but you can wait, but you got to keep moving. You can't make when I say you got to wait for it, you have to wait for them to
to get there. Yeah.
You have to wait for them to
terms. Yeah.
Yes, you can't. It's not. You can't do it for someone else. You hold that responsibility for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, yeah, so now, like I said, I'm in a place of, it's so different from what, you know, from how I was raised, what I thought I was I taught the Bible. I tried to live the Bible. I found the Black people in the Bible, and I would talk about the Black people in the Bible, and they're like, ooh, I think it was one couple, they stopped coming to church because every time I said something in Sunday school class, it had something to do with Black people. We Black. What the problem is? This the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And right here, this references this. This is the location. These are the things that hadn't been pointed out for whatever years. But even since then, like I said, my belief system has just been turned upside down, but not in a bad way. I began to question, or my question was, after when that young man went in the church and shot up the people, we had tried, we had tried around here to say, why is the 11 o'clock hour the most segregated hour in America? Why is it that way? Why do we have a white church and a Black church? What's happening there? What is it? And so I know we had began to try to have some of those conversations around here. But I got so, and this is the word that's coming up in my spirit, I got so repulsed. Evangelicals, during the political times, they would say evangelicals, conservatives, the evangelicals. And that's just simply, these are people who would want things to stay the way they are or to turn back to the way they were when it was even much more comfortable for a group of people to be over other groups of people and to actually, dominate, or that thing I don't like saying.
Yeah.
So when I looked at that, I was like, I couldn't put it together that we are the same book. It's called the church. It's called Christianity. Y'all say evangelicals, y'all write all the books. We read all the books y'all write. And so my goal, my desire was turned towards what was there before this book. I want to go all the way back to the beginning. What was first? And so that's how I started my journey. And since then, oh my, I have gemstones. I have what else are some of the things that incense and I mean all kind of stuff that nobody would have ever.
Yeah.
Not Rhonda Brown, not church Rhonda Brown, not her.
Yeah.
But that evolution of the path that is ours. I believe this to be my path. I have not another. I yeah, and I'm okay. It's a rough little place, you know. It took my mom like a whole minute, like, because if the doors was open, Rhonda was there. When I had my children, and I think probably when she had me, I was at the church, the first place I went out, and I lived there and stayed there. My children the same. Now I did when my children got older. I did tell them, "Hey, I'm not making you go to a certain church. You have to have some belief." And then I feel like spiritually, which I can explain it now, there is another side to another dimension to this world. This is the spiritual that you have to connect with.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna live, you can't put your finger on everything that happened. There's things happen that you can't explain. And that's in the spirit. And so you gotta find that system, find what works for you, and a lot of it, go inside or whatever. So I have one son that's still in church. One son, I'm not sure. One son, oh my, he's just all into a whole nother space, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're all here on a journey. And like you said, I think it makes, or it can make, what it is that I want to do. I would say, oh, it should be made easier if I was inside of a church. Well, I've been inside of a church and I tried to do progressive things, and it didn't work inside the church.
Yeah.
So now I'm on the outside and I'm going, well, people don't want to play with me now because I don't have no church name next to mine. Nah, people just not ready to play. They're not ready to do the work that's needed. And it hits everybody maybe a little bit different. Yeah. I've been talking too long, but anyway.
You're good. No,
I'm
good. That's what me and Bam was kind of talking about that last night, just about if you want to address, just basically like we was talking about, I think some weeks back, we were talking about just being like, if you have something on your mind that you feel like you need to say, but you don't want to say it because it might ruin some relationships. You know what I'm saying? It might upset some people. It might, like, if you feel like somebody is bad for the community and you speak on it publicly, that could end up some relationships. But like I tell him, we just got to stand on truth because we already have a lack of resources, lack of funding, lack of support. I'm not going to walk on eggshells to keep that lack of funding, lack of support. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather just be on my truth and not get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like if you like, it's you can't choose to support, not support me even more because you already don't support me. So me standing on truth, if you're not gonna like me more because I make a statement or I call something out or I do this, that's cool. And
that's
we gotta just be cool with that because I don't care about being. I would love to be cool with everybody. That's the ideal, right? But I don't want to be cool to everybody just to be cool with everybody.
Right.
There's a lot of people that's just running in packs just to be cool with each other, but not pushing no line, not making no real change, not having no impact. They just cool with a bunch of people. And it's cool because if you put out something, you do something, everybody love you, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not going against nobody grain. You're walking that way where you're not doing nothing impactful, but you're cool with everybody because you're not pissing nobody off. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's upset with you because you took a stance. And I'm taking stances, and everybody, and that leads me to be against everybody. As long as I'm standing with truth, I'm cool with that.
Right.
And that's how I have to live. Even once again, like even with my family, I'm a family person. I always talk about community, this and that. So it looks kind of different when the same person, but it really don't. But I have been asked that. Well, you talk about community building, you talk about family, you talk about all this, but you're at war with a lot of your family. I'm not at war with none of my family. I'm at war with the mindset. And if you're gonna have that mindset, you are enemy to me. I just I told you from day one, I don't pick and choose. Like if I would say that about somebody over there, I'm gonna say that about a family member. If you got the same mindset and you move in a certain way and you have a lack of respect for black men or this and that, you're an enemy to me, no matter who you are. And I don't. That's my cousin. That's my this. That's my that. They can disrespect black men and not care, but this person over there better not. No, it ain't cool for nobody if I don't know you, if I grew up with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
same energy back. And I gotta, will that hurt? Yeah, that can lead to lack of support. That can lead to people that would have helped you out not helping you out. But I can sleep at night because I'm not standing with a lie. I'm gonna figure out a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of my family members used to get mad when I done posted this about on Facebook about, don't talk to me about my relatives. Y'all talking about people I'm blood kin related to. I'm talking about family. Like me and you are family. Me and you, I'm closer to you than a lot of my blood aunties and stuff like that. That, you know what I'm saying? That's sad, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So I have to be transparent about my life if I want to really make impact in the community. I can't be like, well, I'm scared to say this because it might get my family members mad. If that's what it is, that's what it is. We need to change it in real life. If we don't change it in real life, I'm gonna speak on it just like I'm gonna speak on it if it wasn't nobody in my family. You know what I'm saying? And that leads to bad this and that and that. I don't care. Like, change it. If you're not gonna change it, I'm gonna call it out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's just the bottom line. So yeah, it's been a lot of falling out. But then I think about it, I'm like, there's some people I fell out with over having real stances that ain't never supported me anyway. I've been running businesses for over 20 years. If you haven't found one thing to support me in 20 years, you're not even family to me anyway. You know what I'm saying? We only tied to each other because we got the same bloodline somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't count that. I don't count you. Is that harsh? Yeah, but that is what it is. That's the way I roll. That's not telling what everybody else roll, but how that connects to what I build. Because no matter who you are, if you detrimental, if you're not, you can get cut out too. That's why I always tell you, it's not about everybody coming together. Nah, give me the what that movie say, the 300. Give me that 300. I don't want the tens of thousands that's gonna that's gonna set me up, that's not gonna support, that's gonna hate behind my back, that's gonna bring all this stress. And no, you keep them thousands of people that do that. Give me my 300 that's focused, that's, you know what I'm saying? They got the eyes on their prize, that's really trying to do this. I'm cool with them. And I'm good. And I think that's where, like me and Ben was talking about it. I was like, I would get, you know what? My funding would be up if I would pass out Bibles with the CEO Youth League. It's actually 2 religious groups that was going to fund me monthly, but I refuse to pass out Bibles. So that's them 2 checks that's gone. I'm cool with that. I don't even read a Bible. Well, I'm going to pass them out to my kids. If my kids want to read Bibles, that's on them. I'm not going to snatch it from them. I'm not against Bibles. I'm just not going to tell them. That's not my job. It's enough churches and all that do that. They need something different. You know what I'm saying? Church has been passing out Bibles since the beginning of time, and our people still in this position. Once again, it's not connecting somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
You're asking
somewhere. So I gotta go something. I gotta do what I would have wanted to happen to me at 10, 11, 12. And trust me, somebody that came to me with a Bible would have, man, get away from me, dude. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm trying to figure out right here? Do you know I just ran away from home? Do you know this guy right here just showed me how to make hundreds and thousands of dollars? Do you know that? You know what I'm saying? Like, come to me on some real stuff. And that's why I approach kids like that. If they want a Bible, hey, man, hey, I respect it. If you never want a Bible, I respect it. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I don't want. And
I think that's important. That's really important.
Yeah, it's not. I don't have to promote it. I don't have to push it. I don't have to shove it down your throat. I don't have to do that. If you want a Bible and you come to the CEO Youth League and you want your Bible in your hand all day, man, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever makes you a better person, I'm with it. I'm just not gonna force nothing on you. I don't even force the finances and stuff. I just plant seeds in what you like. Oh, you like that? Let me show you how to make money off that. You like that? I just give them ideas and they tell me what they like. I don't force them to like everything that I put in front of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They get to choose.
Some kids that love the painting with Ryan and some kids that hate it. It's some kids that love to invest it and some kids that hate it. I'm just presenting a bunch of things to you. You catch what you like and you come tell me and I'm gonna show you how we can make that run. You know, that's all I'm doing. I'm not forcing nothing down their throat, and I'm definitely not going to force religion. Why? Because I didn't want that forced down my throat. How I'm going to build a program that's trying to go after the kid like me and go against what that kid would have wanted? I wouldn't have wanted it, you know? So I've lost funding for that. I've lost funding because called out the NAACP. I don't care. All I did was tell the truth. Go to their website, and they talk about minorities and everybody else but Black people. That's just I didn't make up no lie.
You didn't make up the lot. No, it's
all
not.
you gotta do is go change it. All you gotta do is change your plan and start doing something. And I'll be the first one to go live with Miss Brown and say, "Hey, the NAACP showed me some stuff." Like I'm not against nobody. I'm just not for the continuation of ways things been done. And there's no change in our community. That's the only thing I'm against. I'm not against nobody. I can call you out today, and tomorrow I'll deal with you if we talking about doing something constructive. I'm cool. I had one of my partners. He close with he in the NAACP. He came out Saturday and kicked it. You know what I'm saying? I had a few of them, and they know where I stand because they know my heart. They know I'm not. It might sound like, man, I'm going at somebody, but I'm going at the mindset of why is this cool?
That's awesome.
Why is this cool? Like you go to a Latino website, they're not talking about black and brown. They talking about brown. They talking about what they gonna do to their people. If you go to a Chinese restaurant, they're not talking about Chinese and black people coming together. They talking about Chinese, and there's nothing wrong with none of that.
Nothing wrong with that.
We talking about everybody, and we already got the lease, and we still want to do for everybody. We got to get something for us. And if that sounds radical and crazy to you, that's cool. That means we just ain't on the same page. Don't mean you're a bad person. We just not on the same page.
Yeah, but I think it's powerful that you're able to express it the way you did. I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking the mindset, because we have to understand that the shackles left from our feet, from our legs to our minds, and we forget that the shackles that are truly on our minds, and the not pushing a child a particular way or an adult a particular way and respecting wherever they are. How can that be wrong? Now, for someone to, come to one of us and ask us to do that, that's just as wrong. I'm not going to ask anybody to believe in something that I don't believe in, number one. And I am going to, as you do, stand on my square, Bible verse, be ready to give an answer. Tony, I give you an answer. You ask me a question, I will give you an answer. Yeah. And if I can't give you an answer, then I need to be able to get the answer myself, because there is a hole, there is a vacant spot that I need to find out. Well, why can't I answer, Tony? Why can't I answer that? And so I've always, I won't be able to say, and that might be somewhat intimidating for people, where we think, they do. No, they just don't express themselves in the same way that we do. I don't express myself in the same way you do, but I express myself in the way that I do. And that, can be a bit much for some people sometime, but it's not going to change. It's not going to change. This is my truth. This is my experience. This is what I believe at this point. You know what I'm saying? And so, well, why you don't? Okay, so just little stuff, like somebody might go to the McDonald's and act like you didn't hear that, but I broke down and took my baby some lunch up there at the McDonald's. I got me a mango pineapple smoothie. And they brought out these cups, and then it's like not even full. It's like a whole inch and a half down the cup. I'm like, somebody else would just take the cup and roll on. Yeah. I'm not to take the cup and roll on. I need to know where the rest of this drink at, because y'all didn't give me no discount. I ain't use no coupon or nothing. I'm paying real money for this.
They'll short you with that coupon.
I might even let them, right? And I'm like, I can, with my strong beliefs, sometimes now I'm like, I don't even need to go outside my house, because it's always something crashing against me. I came up in a time when customer service meant something. The customer is always right. There was a level of professionalism in how you run your business. At this, even at the schoolhouse, we respected our schoolhouse. It was school. There was things I remember when I was teaching at Smith Middle School. So that was years and years ago, because I was in the classroom for only like 5 years before I came out of the classroom. But to think that children would break into a school, that wasn't the culture when I was growing up. A school was not a place that you broke into. And so now I'm dealing with, 20 years later, 25 years later, that this is where we come to. And then now it's even worse. You see what I'm saying? So when we didn't hold up a standard like what you're saying, what I'm saying. So you have a standard, you have an expectation. You have an expectation and that if I say I'm going to do something, that I'm going to do it. If I can't do it, then I'm going to communicate with you. That's the expectation. That's the standard, right? And so we live our lives with standards. And then maybe you meet the standard, you don't meet the standard. We make the adjustments that are good for us. You know what I'm saying? We don't change the standard, but we maybe just say, hey, not there yet.
Yeah.
Not there yet. Or whatever, however that is. And so I think we got to get back to that. And I think
unapologetically, because a lot of people when you try to raise the standards, are you doing this? Are you changing? Or you think you better? Or whatever you want to call it, we just got to raise the standards. You know what I'm saying? If you looking down on people, no, I'm looking up on people. I'm telling people that whatever you used to settle for, we got to raise that up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you feel like that's a problem, then you probably part of the problem because you're the one. You're like kids used to when I was coming up. We used to say we're going to be this, we're going to be that. Most kids never turned out to be none of those stuff, right? But the fact that we still had a dream to be something. I'm going to be a fireman. I'm going to be a rich this person. I'm going to be this. These kids, only dream these kids got now is sports or trying to be whatever they see on YouTube or TV. That's it. Like kids don't even say they want to be as a whole, doctors, lawyers, firemen, police, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that people used to run out back in the day just by wanting to be something. Now it's sports or they want to be like the favorite person they see on Instagram or something like and that's why I'm creating a course. It's about just teaching kids to dream. Like just have a dream.
Yeah.
Like just dream. I don't care how crazy it sounds. Astronaut. You want to go to the moon. You want to create a car of your own. You want to compete with Ford. Whatever it is, I want you to dream the craziest, biggest dream in the world. Just because that, even if you don't lead to that, just having those thoughts that I could do that will inspire whatever you do become. You know, so we have to bring back the dreaming. And I was watching something. I'm gonna have to pull it up. It was on YouTube. But it was just talking about how the kids are born geniuses. And by the time they go through first, second, third, fifth grade, but you check on them from 3 to about 12, they done lost half of their genius because of the system. The way, you know what I'm saying? The way everybody tell you, no, you do that. No, you sit down. No, you go to school and you wait for that bell to ring and you sit there and you don't, like all that robot programming just dumbs them down slowly but surely. Sure, there's gonna be some that excel in the books, but in life, their genius has been drained out of them. They have become nothing but a good worker or a half-so worker. You know, that's basically what kids are now. It's gonna be it don't matter about the corporate world or sitting on Industrial Boulevard working at a factory. It's gonna be some in there that work hard, and it's gonna be some in there that just there to get their check. Same as the corporate world. It's gonna be some that work hard because they just on different levels, but they all programmed systematically to just do this. And the genius is just gone and drained.
Yeah. And it's again, I would say, it's about parenting.
Yeah.
My daddy used to say stuff with his 6th grade education that made me think. I had to figure out what Joker was talking about.
Yeah.
And if I ain't figured it out quick enough, he'd help me figure it out in some pretty, but he wanted me to be able to think.
Yeah.
And I didn't that much get in trouble at school for thinking. Because I know it was somewhere that they was going, that girl, because they would have been thinking the same thing. Because some stuff just don't make no sense.
For sure.
And so, but I remember that, my dad's parenting style. He made me think. He didn't just tell me everything, and he expected me to think and to think pretty quick. And Sometimes I did, and sometimes I didn't. When I think about his genius, when I told you I have a cousin, and I think I was almost about to get put out of her house with us trying to. She was saying if Uncle Charlie would have went to school, oh, he would have been, oh man, super bad. You know, not just the way he was, not as successful as he was, but super successful. And so I was just trying to point out, what if possibly that's what allowed him to be so successful, is the fact that he only went to school to 6th grade. And the rest of the time, he learned problem solving, make it happen, do it, depend on yourself. You know what I mean? Learn how to work with people, learn how to get it done.
Yeah, trades. He learned trades without going to trade school.
Absolutely.
He had a life education.
Mm-hmm. Now he might. I don't think he did. I don't think he did much on the farming side. Like I said, I didn't know anything about the gardening and stuff. But when it kind of take a car apart and put a car back together, it wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing to it when it came to business, when it came to finance. And it didn't come out of book, and I don't know who taught it. You know, really, who I'm not sure who really taught this to this man, other than life.
Just life.
So we gotta, and I think we do that too. We can shelter the kid, you know, our kids. If we've been sheltered, then we kind of feel like that's what we need to do, instead of letting life really go at him. My dad made my life hard. He did. I had to work sun up to sundown. I thought, you know, but he did it for me. He knew what he was doing, even if he didn't explain it. Oftentimes, they didn't explain to us what was happening, but they knew what they was doing. Rhonda K, you need to know this. But he didn't. They didn't sit down and have this conversation with you about it. You figure out later why it had to be that way earlier. And so, like I was saying, with my children, I took a different route. If I'm making this decision, I took the time to tell you. You know, with other people, you talk to them kids too much. Well, I want them to understand why, because I never understood why. Why? And if I can articulate, baby, this why you have to go here. This why you can't go there. This is why, you know, so I took a different route with the parenting, like I said, and I'm still convinced, because I have thoughts of my parenting, but I am convinced that I woke up every day and my desire was to be the best parent, the best mother I could be to the children that I had, and that's what I did. I'm sure I wasn't perfect.
No one's perfect. It's not even about.
Tell me that.
The perfect part is not even what you're trying to strive to be. You know what I'm saying? You're just trying to do your best, and
with what I had to work with.
Yeah, what you had to work with. You know, and that when we talk about now, some parents can't use that same excuse, right? The information was very limited back then. These kids right now can learn more by the age of 8 than most adults didn't learn in their life. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different ball game. So I didn't know this and that. We can't say that like our grandparents and all that, the generation before us said.
Wow.
And a lot of them did a lot more without knowing all the stuff that we know now. You know what I'm saying? Like you
made a great point there, that the parents today, they got something to contend with that I never had.
Yeah.
You know, and if they put these little phones and these little tablets in front of their kids and they don't monitor them, then it goes beyond, you know, the kids are learning more faster than the adults already know. And then you're supposed to be the parent. I imagine it's going to be a little pushback.
Yeah.
Because I already know this. I already know that. And, you know, I know everything.
Mm-hmm. Or they start believing that they know everything.
Yes, early. Not like, you know, at 17, 18, not then, not back when we was. This could start really early.
And you mix that because that's programming. Like you go to China, I think first of all, you got to be over 13 to even get on social media in China.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be 13 to even get on social media. So that's one thing that's different. Second of all, you can only be on there for certain hours of the day when you're under a certain age. You know, so their programming is way different than our. Like I know parents that give that 5-year-old, 4-year-old, 3-year-old that tablet and whatever just to shut them up.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, they'll tell you give it to them so they'll shut up. Like
right,
huh? Like, no, when I was told to shut up, I just had to shut up with no tablet and no nothing. I ain't got no choice. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get to play with a toy to be quiet. Like I just when I was told
like, oh, this new.
Yeah, this is new. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but then you add that, then you add the society, then you add the lack of this and the lack of that. And then we wonder why we getting the results of what we getting. This, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
This is why.
Yeah,
right. Like, I'm ringing a bell at the, you know, and then we have people that'll see me doing stuff all the time. You know, everything I do for kids is free. I raise money and I figure out that on my own. I don't charge kids for nothing. This summer camp, I done figured out a way how to, you know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm always trying to figure out because my thing is I want to inspire. I want to right now. I'm just trying to plant seeds because the seeds need to be planted. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, like I don't care about how much money I'm spending on food. I figure all this out later. I just need to see kids so I can keep planting seeds. That's all I'm trying to do right now. But then you have the parents that don't even bring them out for that. You know, but they'll line up for the football, not against football. Once again, it goes back to the church thing. The results are not proving themselves in our community. We've been talking about sports just as long as we've been. No, church was longer because church was first. But you know what I'm saying? Like sports and church been a part of our quote unquote success story forever. But how much success do we really have off of them?
Well, some people have some people, a number of people, a minute number of people.
Yeah, you talking about the 1%.
Some success off of both of them.
Yeah,
well, have some success off of both of them.
The 1%. So
yeah, you said 1%. You know, but yeah, and it's just what it is. Some people go into religion and church and this just so they can make some money.
Okay. And
that's a sad commentary, but that is a truth.
Yeah, and I ain't mad at that. I like to make money. I told a couple preachers.
I'm mad.
I had a conversation with a few preachers, and I told both of them. So you want to make some money? Go buy some land and set up duplexes. I would love for you to do that. Now you provide homes and you want to make some money, go open up a grocery store. I would love for you to make money. Now you giving jobs, you feeding people. Like there's plenty of ways to get money. Like I tell people I got shirts coming out called a conscious capitalist. I'm with the capitalism. I ain't tripping. I got brothers that's hate it, but tell me how we gonna get around it. Like, you know, I run with some super pro-black circles. Okay, sit down and I get it. You hate the system. I hate them too. You hate all this. We get capitalism. Okay, so tell me how we gonna survive without all this. We was born into this world. I don't care how you feel about it. You're gonna have to play the game or you're gonna be homeless starving. That's just what it is.
You're gonna play the game or you're gonna
just what it is.
You're gonna sit on the sidelines without anything. You got choices here.
Yeah,
if you choose to play the game, then you gotta know the game and play to win.
Yeah, that's it.
And then there are people, I think there are a lot of people who have chosen, I'm gonna sit on the sideline and do without. I'm good.
How much impact do they have on the community?
They're not even trying to have an impact. They're not playing the game.
Well, they don't count to me. If you're not
they don't count. They don't count in the build. Because we talked about last week the build.
Yeah.
Oh, let me say this, because when you were talking, when you say you're planting the seeds. So when you were talking, I was thinking as a collective, maybe not us, but the next generation or a group of people that get it and set those standards. And, you know, that just like the Chinese or, you know, age 13. That, you know, it's a group, and it's like, no, our unless the technology will touch the hands of our children in constructive ways. Period. We will monitor that. That they will have a structure in place that a group of them that can be impactful to the world around them, because you're talking about, hey, only the 300, give me my 300, I don't need the thousands. But what we do anticipate, or what we can anticipate, is that the seeds that you sow in the 300 that's working with you, all the lives that are impacted by that 300, that those lives are going to multiply, that's going to be the change that we see, changing the narrative. The 300 has to put in the work to plant the seeds, and then the harvest. And so sometimes we have to look past who with us, who not with us. Number one, keep working, keep planting seeds, keep tilling the ground, keep doing what you got to do, and understand that what you're doing now is for a harvest that you hope to see, but you may not see. You may see some, but you definitely know you put the seed in the ground.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, you put the seed in the ground, even if you just see it sprout. You know, I seen it. I see the sprout. And so that's what I think, you know, we have to keep in mind, the word constitution, to know ourselves well enough, like you do, your own constitution. Here is my line. There's no crossing these lines. I have a standard. This is who I am. This is how I am. And I sleep at night very well. I know, you know, you can say whatever you want to say. You can feel however you want to feel. She too weak. She talk too much. She too strong. She need to. You can say all that you want to. I know that this is who I am. This is where I am. And I'm comfortable with that. And I sleep at night. And I know that I'm on the right path.
That's it.
I'm on the right path for me. I think that's important too.
Yeah.
You can't give me a path. Okay, you can encourage me on my path.
Yeah.
Okay, but you can encourage me to do my best on my path, because it makes a difference. Other people can see someone who has whatever it was. They stay true to the game. They stay true to who they are. To who they were called to be, and the work that they were called to do. And I don't know that we can ask that of anything else. When we look at our kids, we have to look at them not like us dictating who they will be, but who they came here as, and who they choose and decide to become. Like you said, I would not like it in the art class. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Nah, sometimes I can be a little and maybe enjoy it some, but it's not my thing. So looking and seeing and providing opportunities for kids, and really allowing them and supporting them in their area of growth. And when they and when they hit those danger spots, they got to know I'm gonna come get you. I think that was important too. I think that's important, when you know that you have a community, you have a parent, you have somebody. It could be a cousin, it could be an aunt, it could be somebody, that if I step my little toe over there, they gonna come get me. It's gonna be unsafe for me to do that right there.
But sadly, speaking from experience, I deal with kids every day. These kids not scared of their parents. They really run the show. A lot of I don't say
they need somebody.
I'm say a good percentage. I'm gonna just put it like that. It's a good percentage of kids that have no respect for their parents. And on some cases, I understand. Like, it's hard to have a respect for your parent if your parent is cracked out and bringing all kind of random men around you as a daughter, and or this and that, or your mom, or you give your mom some money that you made, and the money just disappeared. And I got kids coming to me like, well, I had some money, Mr. Tony, but I gave it to my mom, and she said she spent it on bills. Like, these kids not dumb. These kids know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what do I do in that situation when I know your mom cracked out, your mom tripping, your mom this and that? You don't really need to be with your mom, but that's me overstepping what I'm here to do. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So,
only thing.
so that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of these kids, and I get it. It's some parents that's just they tried their best, and sometimes your best just ain't good enough. That's just what it is. They tell you that in sports. You know what I'm saying? You can try your best, and kid can still spiral out of control or this and that. And you can raise a kid in a quote unquote perfect environment. They can still run to another side of the world. We all know that but I'm talking strictly about the bad parenting part. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Yeah,
even
and I said,
and that's what I see on a
yeah.
lot of every day, because this is what I deal with. Babies I feed every day. You know what I'm saying? And
But Tony, you're that person. You're because it may not be a parent. It could be a cousin. It could be anybody. But they got to know that it's somebody. I believe, because I would ask, who is it? Who you look up to? Who will you listen to? Who is that person? And if they don't have that person, then we have the results. Okay. And so if we can't be that person for the kids that are brought into our, around us, and we have the opportunity to interact with, then we missing the mark as well. Yeah. They don't just need to know mama got my back. And so this goes back to what people would say, so it wasn't really like that for me. Maybe it was at some time, but no, only my mama and my daddy was whooping my butt. Okay, the neighbors wasn't whooping my butt. That wasn't it. Because they was like, oh, you get a whooping then, and then you get a whooping when you come home, and then when your daddy get home, he whoop you too. I'm like, okay, maybe that happened to y'all. I think y'all putting 10 on a 20. But when it came to being aware that if the neighbor saw you doing something,
you
get snitched on. They cared that much. And that's all I'm saying for young people to know, hey, you got eyes out here. You got people who care about you. And not only that when you do it, if that person learns about it. So not necessarily, I don't know if you call it fear, but it's like, well, if y'all gonna tell her, don't tell her, because I believe that she will come and confront me where y'all won't. And I'm not coming to lay hands on you. I'm coming to lay some love on you. Yeah. Maybe you're better than that. You're worth more than that, baby. This and this. How do I help? I'm gonna need that not to ever happen again. So what do I need to do? Where you have to the way you do, Tony. We just need more people like you. Sacrificially say, not with words, not with intention. And it is intentional, but it's more natural than intentional. Yeah. These babies is out here like this, and I love them babies, and their parents get up and they do what they can, but they can't right now. So I can be there for them. The grown folks got to make their way. And if I can just help them get to where, there's a time when right now, this is what I would, tell kids. And I tell it to a parent the same thing. Right now is your time to take care of you. You look at the situation around you and you decide what you will take into your future and what you will not. Okay, but your goal is what do I need at this stage to move to the next stage? If you want the piece of paper, and I would always encourage them, you need at least 2 pieces of paper. You won't get that high school because society just requires that. And then you can get a trade school. You could, do something. You're going to need another piece of paper because high school don't mean much. College means less, a whole lot less than what it used to. Okay.
It's a whole lot more expensive.
And it's a lot more expensive, And so I would always tell them that. So it's more of building an attitude of if I get to interact with you, I get to love you like you're my own. I'm not your mom and your daddy, but you need to know that I love you, I care about you, and that you can call me, that I'm going to be there, that you're not going to go hungry. And just trust that, I'm going to be there if I can be there, period. Yeah. And that's the way.
That's all we can do at this stage until we build, because the biggest thing is no matter at this stage, there's only so much you can do. And that's what I realized when I've been doing stuff for youth for a long time. And I realized I used to tell them all the good moral stuff. Hey, man, stay out of trouble. Hey, man, do this. It sounds good. And then I was telling myself one day, it just sounds good for me. that kid gonna listen to it, but that kid got to go back to the house where the lights off. That kid got to go back to the house where ain't nothing in the refrigerator to eat. You know what I'm saying? Even if I feed him some quick little fast food, he gonna wake up hungry again, or she gonna wake up hungry in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So now, unless I got the right resources, how do I become that
There
person?
you go.
That just every day I got to do this. It's my job every day. You know, like the other day, Hussein had hit me. He was like, say, man, we had this thing. I got tubs of spaghetti, this and that. I'm like, oh yeah, I feed about 6, 8 kids a day. He's like, for real? I'm like, yeah, I don't post that type of stuff. I just do it. You know what I'm saying? He was like, oh man, come man. I mean, he just gave I'm talking about a big thing of spaghetti, big thing of salad. He was like, bro, why you didn't tell me this? I don't tell nobody. I just do.
Right.
Like, that ain't the part. That ain't the posting part of that. When I'm getting calls at 3, 4 in the morning because the mom went to jail and dad did this and all that, I don't post that type of stuff.
That's and if you're in your cocoon and you never connect or experience, and that's way over there, then you don't even have the opportunity to. Yeah. And so I am grateful that you're in a position to know that is happening and that is going on. And the House of Resources.
Yeah, we get stronger.
You didn't know.
Hey, we get stronger by the day. You know what I'm saying?
Which is the House of Resources. Our babies aren't gonna go hungry. The lights not gonna get turned off. That makes no sense.
Yeah, we're gonna make it work.
If we living in 300, 400, 500,000, $500,000, whatever $1,000 houses. Oh, if we coming for somebody, we coming for these people who capitalism is okay, but don't let the hurting continue to hurt when you can help.
Now we gonna take the system that was given to us and turn it into our way. That's what we always do. We always take a bad situation and we cater it to us. Do I want power like the most powerful is quote unquote white men in the world? Yes. But my power, if I get that power, it'll be a whole different type of power.
It's different.
You know what I'm saying? So and like I tell people, my competition is not another black man or this and that, or we beefing. I don't get into all that. I might stand on what I stand on, and I'm going by my business. I'm focused on it because at the end of the day, I know who my real enemy is. Even if I don't rock with you, if we fall out, if this person ain't right, whatever's been said behind my back, I get it. But you still not my biggest threat. You know what I'm saying? I understand who my biggest threat. My biggest threat is the 40-year-old Donald Trump. They got all the resources, they got all the money, they got all everything, and he don't want nobody like me getting anywhere close to his power. That's what I'm focused on.
That makes so much sense.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm focused on the 40-year-old person that's got everything already, that was born with the silver spoon in his mouth, that don't want to hear nobody like me talking the way I talk, talking about getting what's his and wanting to get, you know what I'm saying, what his great-great-granddad then stole and took and provided him with. He's gonna die before he give me that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And we have to crash into those real life truths.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And get it together. We got to get it together.
So and that's why I tell people, like, don't ever get it twisted. If you see me checking this person or checking that person, this is just a second, and I'm back on to the real prize, because I understand. Who's the real enemy. Like, you know what I'm saying? You could not like me and you still not no enemy, because we're all basically we don't have we're powerless. So me arguing with another powerless person, I tell people that's just like jailhouse talk. People in jail, they all in there lying to each other and beefing with each other. And at the end of the day, they all stuck in this cage.
In the same spot.
You know what I'm saying? We trying to figure out, I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you because I done read more books. I'm smarter than you because I'm with this religion now. I'm smarter than you because of this and that. I have more money outside of jail than you. We doing all this crazy talking. At the end of the day, the guards walking by and telling us what time to eat, use the bathroom, and what kind of slop we finna eat today. Like, I don't want to be sitting in no jail arguing with a powerless person about who's the better or who's
right.
No, I'm trying to figure out how to take over this jail. Like, we need to get. I need to be the warden in this jailhouse. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's what I focus on. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you gotta just say a couple things, check something, but just keep on moving, because at the end of the day, that's pointless. That's not going to lead to anything productive or anything that can change the narrative for kids. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't worry about that. But we over the time. We
always.
You know how we go. You know, we get back in the groove. You know, we had missed a couple of weeks or whatever, so we trying to get back in the groove. And like I told Ben, I said we're gonna get things back on the road. I'm getting the House of Resources straight. so I don't have to rush home all the time. I can just set up and do the podcast right there.
From here, yeah.
And I'm about to start another one, so I want you probably to be one of my first guests. We're gonna start a community talk from the House of Resources, and that's gonna probably be like a couple times a week. I'm just gonna go live from the House of Resources and interview people, talk about stuff, have community conversations, what's going on in the community, this and that, whatever. Awesome. Just community stuff,
Okay.
And not just Temple community. I'm talking about like Central Texas
community.
Yeah, just whatever's going on. So that's gonna be something cool. So we just figuring out more creative ways for the House of Resources. But give us some words to end on for the night.
Okay, I am just on a like super duper high because the House of Resources is manifesting. Yes, and it's manifesting in such a powerful way to understand that resources means exactly what it says. The house is exactly where it's at, and that the builders are coming to build the House of Resources so that our babies will be taken care of, nurtured, grown up, and find themselves at the top and never at the bottom. So the House of Resources is my excitement for tonight. The House of Resources, we are on the build, and it will manifest because we're going to stay on our square and we're going to keep doing exactly what it is that we've been called to do. And we're going to encourage one another, work together with one another, and look for the rest of the 300. Yeah. It's been a wonderful podcast. Thank you for even allowing me to be a part of it and being and bridging the gap. I love it. I learned so much.
Yeah, I learned so much, and it helps me because I have a lot of thoughts going to my head. So conversating with you helps me kind of like, okay, like because I'm confident in what I stand on and what I believe, but I'm not so confident that I don't want a different opinion to make sure that I'm. You know what I'm saying? Am I going too hard? Am I going too much? Am I going to this or that? So I like that balance because I love one thing about me is I've seen people, quote unquote, running the show, powerful, whatever you call it in your circle or your situation, and I've seen them ruin it because they start thinking too much of themselves, but could nobody tell them nothing, could nobody say nothing to them. And I always want to make sure I'm never that person. You know what I'm saying? Awesome. Like the way I'm gonna check a situation, check me. If I'm wrong, like
that's love.
You might not like what I'm saying, but if I'm lying, call me out on it. Say, no, T, that's a lie. Let me give you some game. Like I want it. Like, don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I had my uncle the other day said, well, I don't want to overstep. I don't want to do this. I need it. I need the help. You ain't overstepping. You take charge. Like this is for us. This ain't me. This ain't no Tony thing. This is a us thing. You know
that's important.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. And the last thing I'm gonna say about the House of Resource, Van was the first person. Then I got like 2 or 3 people when they ride by. They take a little picture with a little selfie. I said it's becoming like a landmark. It's gonna be a landmark.
I'm coming to take mine tomorrow. Let me finish getting my hair done.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Oh yeah, this is dope. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome. Yes, I love it. Okay, it's on. It's on and popping.
So I appreciate you.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I'll see you in the morning. Yeah. Bring it to us. I definitely we finna get this hot dog stand. We finna get things turned up, man.
Okay.
I need to talk to you anyway about the summer camp, some availabilities for you to come in and with the kids.
Okay.
And talk to you about availability for open house. I want to do an open house. So parents before the summer camp can come in and just meet some of the staff and kind of the stuff you know how school works, the open houses in school, you know what I'm saying? So
Definitely.
we'll talk about that tomorrow. I need to get some dates. I know you know what I'm saying? I need to make sure you clear before I don't want to set up nothing. You be like, oh, that baby, that's a bad day for me.
And so, I'm gonna do all I can to make it work.
Yeah. Like I said, and sometimes we can't make everything, but you still gonna be a part of creating it. You know what I'm saying? And
no, I'm good. I'm gonna be there when I look.
And we gonna have it. We're gonna have it around your availability. That's why I need to talk to you before I start putting up dates and stuff. So I appreciate you. Another conversation every time. But we went over it as always. Tell the mister I said hello. Like I gotta speak, especially when I keep you over time. I definitely gotta make sure I'm speaking.
He's good.
I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll just keep building it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. And there I go looking for the thing.
Trying to end it.